Welcome back to Chroma Celebs. And today we're diving deep into the emotional storm that's been brewing ever since the Sister Wives' much-anticipated tell-all aired, and left fans with more questions than answers. The biggest shock of all? Robyn Brown's stone-cold silence when asked to confront the truths behind the crumbling plural marriage, the family fractures, and the choices that led to the heartbreaking disintegration of the once tightly bonded Brown clan.
Robyn and I are about to go to Sedona. We're going to drive through Oakwood Canyon. Beautiful drive down to Sedona. We're going to do one-on-ones there. So the drive's going to be nice.
It's the only thing.
The one-on-ones are extremely intense. I mean, we used to do them all together, and it's kind of like we were sitting here, 5 people who were loyal to each other, and we were literally trying to protect each other. Well, that's all gone. So are you excited about this?
No, not at all. I'd rather have a root canal.
Really? Wow, that's...
No.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
For a show built on the premise of transparency, honesty, and raw, unfiltered family drama, what happened during the tell-all was anything but. Robyn Brown, the wife many fans blame for the Brown family's unraveling, sat on that couch and refused to speak candidly. And now, social media is ablaze. Viewers who have stood by this TLC franchise for over a decade are demanding answers, and they're not holding back. When the tell-all began, expectations were sky-high. Fans had waited all season to hear Robyn's side of the story. After years of accusations, tears, and visible tensions, this was the moment everyone thought they'd finally see her confront the chaos she's often been accused of causing. With Christine gone, Yanel emotionally detached, and Mary pushed out, the audience expected at least some remorse or even just basic accountability. But what they got instead felt like a carefully rehearsed performance, one where Robyn shielded herself with vague answers, emotional detours, and a frustrating unwillingness to admit or acknowledge anything that might incriminate her. As soon as the questions got tough, her expressions grew colder. And instead of engaging, she deflected. Viewers remember her visibly recoiling when asked whether her relationship with Kody began emotionally, or even romantically, before their spiritual marriage. The interviewer tried, pushing gently then directly, but Robyn gave nothing. Not even a flicker of truth. It was as if she had drawn a line in the sand, and on the other side was the full story the fans had come to hear. And just like that, the tell-all became the tell-nothing. Online, it didn't take long for the backlash to explode. On Reddit, Sister Wives forums were flooded with angry comments. Longtime viewers expressed their fury, saying they felt betrayed. "If Robyn can't be honest now," one user wrote, "then she never will be. She's protecting her image, not her family." Another commented, "We sat through years of this mess. The least she could do is tell the truth now that it's all in ruins." Many fans believe that Robyn's silence speaks louder than any confession could. To them, it confirms what they've suspected all along, that she's always had an agenda, that her tears have always been carefully timed, and that her alliance with Kody was never truly about plural marriage, but about positioning herself as the favored wife. It's worth remembering that Robyn was introduced to Sister Wives viewers as a breath of fresh air. She was portrayed as this sweet, soft-spoken, elegant woman who was grateful for the plural marriage lifestyle. Kody was clearly smitten, and his wives, while initially supportive, soon began expressing concerns. Those concerns would later become prophetic. Over the years, viewers watched as Kody's focus shifted dramatically. Robyn's children became his priority. Robyn's opinions seemed to influence his decisions more than any other wife's. Fans noticed how Robyn's home always appeared more lavish, more secure. While Yanel struggled with housing issues and Christine voiced her feelings of neglect, Robyn seemed cocooned in comfort. When Christine finally left, it marked a turning point for the entire series. Her departure was like the removal of a keystone from a fragile arch. Everything else collapsed. And still, Robyn remained. Quiet. Composed. Carefully curated in how she presented herself. But the tell-all was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be raw, unfiltered, the emotional closure fans needed. What they got was anything but. During the tell-all, the host asked Robyn if she ever felt responsible for the collapse of the family. Her response? A dismissive sigh, a pause, and a vague, "I tried really hard." But fans weren't buying it. They wanted specifics. When did she try? What did she do to bridge the widening gaps between the wives? How did she handle Kody's growing favoritism toward her and the emotional withdrawal from the others? And then came the real bombshell, or lack of one. The topic of jealousy came up. It's no secret that jealousy has been a thorn in the side of the Brown family's polygamous journey. Kody has mentioned it. The wives have discussed it. And fans have seen it play out. But when Robyn was directly asked whether she contributed to the jealousy in the family dynamic, whether her close, exclusive connection with Kody created division, she froze. And once again, she refused to own it. Instead of answering directly, she gave a frustratingly evasive answer saying, "I just wanted to love my family. I didn't want this." But that's not what fans wanted to hear. They didn't want generalizations. They wanted truth. And the refusal to address these questions left them seething. What's most jarring to fans is the contrast. Christine Brown sat in that same chair in previous tell-alls and spilled everything. Yanel, in her quiet, composed way, still opened up and revealed the deep cracks in her marriage to Kody. Even Meri, who had every reason to be bitter, gave raw and honest takes. But Robyn, the wife still legally tied to Kody? She clammed up, deflected, and offered nothing of substance. And then, when the subject of Kody's transformation was brought up, his visible anger, his bitterness, his authoritarian shift, Robyn seemed to justify it all. "He's just been through so much," she said, her voice breaking ever so slightly, but not enough to distract fans from what felt like a blatant excuse. She didn't question his behavior. She didn't express shock or disagreement with how he treated his other wives. Instead, she doubled down, acting as his defender, his protector, his loyal partner to the very end. That move didn't land well with fans either. To them, Robyn's refusal to acknowledge Kody's clear bias, and her choice to stand by him unquestioningly, was more than disappointing. It felt calculated. Like she had been protecting a narrative for years, and now when the truth finally had a chance to come out, she chose silence instead. Even her emotional moments during the tell-all felt suspect. The tears came, yes, but fans questioned whether they were for the broken family or for the broken image. One moment that particularly enraged fans came when Robyn was asked if she ever regrets joining the family. Her answer? No. I was meant to be here. That statement was the final straw for many viewers. How could she not feel even an ounce of remorse when her arrival so clearly marked the beginning of the family's end? To many, it sounded like confirmation that Robyn had never truly embraced the plural family as a whole, but saw herself as the rightful center of it all. And let's not forget, this isn't just a viewer assumption. Over the years, several cast members, including Christine and Yanel, have hinted that Robyn's presence and Kody's obsession with her caused irreparable damage. Christine flat out said she felt like a basement wife and that Kody wasn't interested in intimacy anymore. Yanel admitted she felt Kody emotionally retreated after marrying Robyn. And Meri's heartbreak? It's been written all over her face for seasons now. So when Robyn sat there refusing to talk about these dynamics, it felt like gaslighting the entire audience. As if we hadn't seen what we saw. As if years of footage could be dismissed with a few vague statements and crocodile tears. And now, in the wake of that frustrating tell-all, fans are calling for accountability, not just from Robyn but from the show itself. Viewers are demanding that future episodes dig deeper. That Robyn be asked again and more directly to confront the reality of what happened. Some are even calling for her to be removed from the show if she refuses to participate fully. "You can't have it both ways," one fan wrote. "You can't be the main wife, the legal wife, the center of the story, and then go silent when the story gets uncomfortable." The irony, of course, is that Robyn always claimed to want the big happy plural family. She said over and over that she dreamed of sister wives supporting each other, raising children together, and growing old as a team. But when things got hard, when real conversations needed to be had, she retreated. She let others carry the emotional burden while she preserved her peace. But the fans? They've carried this story with them for years. They've cried with Christine, rooted for Yanel, felt empathy for Mary, and raged at Kody's double standards. And now they feel utterly betrayed by Robyn's silence. What happens next remains to be seen. Will Robyn finally come forward and tell the full story? Will the next season of Sister Wives dig deeper into her side of things? Or will the show continue protecting her from the kind of emotional vulnerability that the other wives have laid bare? Will fans walk away entirely if Robyn refuses to engage? One thing is certain, after this tell-all, Robyn Brown is no longer just the fourth wife. She's the face of frustration for an entire fanbase that feels ignored, disrespected, and tired of half-truths. And if Robyn thought staying silent would protect her from criticism, the fury online says otherwise. The admission that stunned the nation. Kody Brown has never been one to mince words, but even for a man whose outbursts and controversial takes are now part of pop culture memory, this statement felt like a gut punch. In a recent episode of Sister Wives, and further echoed in exclusive interviews and social media commentary, Kody said something that would become the most controversial quote of his entire reality TV career. "I never really loved them," he said, referring to his now estranged or spiritually divorced wives, Christine, Yanel, and Mary. It was said with a strange mix of defiance and resignation. Not shouted in anger. Not whispered in guilt. But calmly, as if he had reached some spiritual epiphany about the decades he spent in plural marriage. The man who once stood before cameras swearing he would love and cherish all his wives equally now seemed almost casual in dismissing the emotional connections he once claimed were eternal. The moment was jarring. It wasn't just a line in a confessional. It was a symbolic full stop to a story that spanned nearly 2 decades, dozens of episodes, and 4 complex relationships. Fans were left asking, was it true all along? Was Kody just going through the motions? Was this his version of rewriting history to justify a life with only one wife left standing by his side, Robyn? Christine's escape and the first fracture. Kody's romantic disintegration with Christine was the first major crack in the family. After years of trying to fit into a mold that didn't suit her anymore, Christine chose herself. She packed her bags, took her kids, and left Flagstaff for a new beginning in Utah. Her departure wasn't just a marriage ending, it was the unraveling of a spiritual bond that in theory should have lasted for eternity. But Christine saw the writing on the wall long before the viewers did. In interviews, she admitted that Kody had grown distant, uninterested, and even cold. The intimacy had dried up. The affection had vanished. And his attention was fixed almost solely on Robyn. So when Kody said he never loved her, Christine wasn't shocked, she was validated. She had spent years questioning whether he cared at all. And now he had finally admitted what she always feared. Still, the pain was palpable. Christine had once moved to be closer to the family, followed the rules of plural marriage, and dedicated herself to raising her children in the shared household. Kody's confession wasn't just about love, it was a public erasure of her worth in his life. Yanel's quiet strength meets Kody's emotional collapse. Next came Yanel, the most pragmatic and independent of the sister wives. Her relationship with Kody was always more of a partnership than a romance. They respected each other, raised 6 children together, and often functioned more like co-parents or business allies than traditional lovers. But even Yanel couldn't hold back the tide of Kody's shifting loyalties. The pandemic exposed deep rifts. Kody imposed strict rules on the family under the guise of safety, but many saw them as a way to isolate himself with Robyn. Yanel pushed back. She valued her children's freedom and autonomy. And Kody resented that. Eventually, their bond frayed beyond repair. What was once mutual respect turned into emotional distance, then hostility. So when Kody claimed he never loved Yanel, it was less of a shock and more of an insult to everything they built together. Yanel didn't beg for him. She didn't cry on camera. Instead, she stood in her truth, firm and composed. But his words still hurt. To say that decades of shared life, decisions, and children were devoid of love? That wasn't just rewriting the past, it was erasing it. Mary's long road to heartbreak. Perhaps no one felt the sting of Kody's confession more than Mary Brown. She was his first wife. The one who began the journey with him when plural marriage was still an ideal, not a ratings machine. She endured years of loneliness, infertility struggles, and public humiliation after the catfishing scandal that nearly broke her. Through it all, Meri clung to hope. Even when Kody moved emotionally away from her, she stayed loyal. She dreamed that one day their bond would be restored. Instead, she watched as he drifted further. At one point, Kody bluntly said he had no romantic feelings for her. And now, with this new confession, he essentially invalidated everything they once had. For Meri, this wasn't just a broken heart, it was a broken legacy. She had given her youth, her faith, and her loyalty to a man who now claimed he never truly loved her. The devastation was clear in her eyes, even if she no longer let tears fall on camera. Was it always about Robyn? Behind all of Kody's recent declarations is one consistent figure, Robyn Brown. The last wife remaining. The legally married partner. The woman he courted with a passionate kiss before marriage, something the others never experienced. Robyn has been accused of being the favorite, of manipulating Kody, of isolating him from the rest. And while she's often defended herself, even she can't deny the reality now. Kody has publicly chosen her. Not just in action, but in sentiment. His claim that he never loved the others clears the path for Robyn to be seen as his one true love, the only one who was right for him. Whether intentional or not, his words have crowned her queen in a monarchy that used to pride itself on equality. But here's the twist: Robyn doesn't seem entirely comfortable with the throne. In recent scenes, she's tearful, anxious, and burdened. She wanted sisterhood. She wanted unity. She wanted to be part of something bigger. Instead, she's now the only one left, and she's surrounded by the ruins of a dream. Fans react: betrayal or brutal honesty? The reaction from Sister Wives fans has been nothing short of explosive. Social media is ablaze with takes, theories, and outrage. Some say Kody is gaslighting his past to justify the present. Others argue he's finally being honest after years of faking affection for a plural marriage he never really wanted. Many fans feel betrayed on behalf of the women. They watched births, holidays, arguments, and family trips. They believed the love was real, even if flawed. To hear Kody now say it was all hollow makes them question whether the show itself was a performance. Still, a small but vocal group of supporters believes Kody is simply waking up to a truth he was too afraid to admit before. They argue that being honest, even when it hurts, is better than living a lie. Either way, the damage is done. The confession is out. And it's going to echo through the franchise for years to come. What this means for the future of Sister Wives. With Christine remarried to David Woolley, Yanel thriving in her independence, and Meri moving on with her own business ventures, the Sister Wives landscape has changed forever. The show that once promised a look into the beauty of plural marriage has become a post-divorce diary of emotional wreckage. Kody's confession doesn't just close a chapter, it torches it. It makes it nearly impossible for the show to continue under the same premise. What is Sister Wives without sisterhood? Without wives? Without love? Some speculate that the franchise may morph into a spin-off focused on Robyn and Kody's monogamous life after pluralism. Others think Christine and Yanel might carry their own series forward, documenting life after the Exodus. But one thing is clear: Kody's claim that he never loved his ex-wives has changed the game. It's no longer about healing or reconciliation. It's about ownership of truth, or at least the version of truth Kody wants to live in now. Fans react: betrayal or brutal honesty? The reaction from Sister Wives fans has been nothing short of explosive. Social media is ablaze with takes, theories, and outrage. Some say Kody is gaslighting his past to justify the present. Others argue he's finally being honest after years of faking affection for a plural marriage he never really wanted. Many fans feel betrayed on behalf of the women. They watched births, holidays, arguments, and family trips. They believed the love was real, even if flawed. To hear Kody now say it was all hollow makes them question whether the show itself was a performance. Still, a small but vocal group of supporters believes Kody is simply waking up to a truth he was too afraid to admit before. They argue that being honest, even when it hurts, is better than living a lie. Either way, the damage is done. The confession is out. And it's going to echo through the franchise for years to come. What this means for the future of Sister Wives. With Christine remarried to David Woolley, Yanel thriving in her independence, and Mary moving on with her own business ventures, the Sister Wives landscape has changed forever. The show that once promised a look into the beauty of plural marriage has become a post-divorce diary of emotional wreckage. Kody's confession doesn't just close a chapter, it torches it. It makes it nearly impossible for the show to continue under the same premise. What is Sister Wives without sisterhood? Without wives? Without love?